Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome back. We're on our 6th batch, I think. We got the Skellige evolving card revealed. It's Harald the Cripple, which is great. I love Harald the Cripple. Lazy mingers. So it seemed like Nilfgaard took a long time to reveal a lot of stuff, but they seem to be going through these quite quickly now. I feel like it was only yesterday that I was doing Jax de Elderberg. But anyway, let's go through Harald the Cripple. We've got a couple of bronzes, which hopefully might synergize with him as well, that were revealed. So let's have a couple of look at these Skellige cards. So first of all, we've got obviously the evolving card for Skellige, Harald the Cripple. So his first form, Harald on Crate, and it seems to be following the same sort of theme as the other ones. 6 strength, 11 provisions, deploy, play a bronze warrior from your graveyard and damage it by 2. At the start of the round, while in hand or deck, transform. I would generally say that's pretty bad. There's not many warriors that you do want to damage. There are a couple. You've got the Terror Crew Axe Wielders. They're the ones that are 2 strength, 2 armor, deploy, damage an enemy by 2, and when exposed, damage a random enemy by 2. So you can get 6 strength from them. You might also want to get the Drummond Shield Maidens. I can't envisage a situation where that would actually be useful though, because that means you'd have to have one in the graveyard and the others in your deck. And then you've got the Drummond Queen's Guard. They could work, but you wouldn't be able to trigger the duplication ability immediately because of the order. So they would be very vulnerable then. So Harald the Cripple, or Harald on Crate version, I'd say is pretty bad. I mean, it's similar to the other ones though. You're probably going to get about, 8 to 10 strength from it, depending on what you pick. So it's about comparable to the other Usurper and Jax de Elderberg. The second phase, Harald Warmonger. Deploy, play a bronze warrior from your graveyard. Devotion at the start of the round while in hand or deck, transform. Basically, you just don't get the +2 damage, the +2 damage done to your warrior. So it's nicer that you can keep things safe, like a Queen's Guard can remain safe, so it's not so vulnerable. And there's a wider variety of cards that you could get and not wound them. So it's basically just exactly the same as before, but the +2 damage. In some situations, like the one maybe slightest situation, this is actually worse than the first one if you want to do that 2 damage. But so far, I'm not really liking the first phase, second phase. It's like a 6 strength resurrect. It's kind of cool, but from the difference from the first one to the second one is like 2 strength, which is just so pitiful, in my opinion. I compare it to the Usurper, where he's 6 and gets 9, and then on the second form is 12. Whew, But I mean, they are releasing some bronze warriors in this expansion, so hopefully we're going to find some that actually are going to be useful for him, utilizing the veteran tag probably. The final variation, you need devotion to get this. 6 strength for 11 provisions. It has Veil. Deploy, play a bronze warrior from your graveyard. Whenever you play a warrior, damage a random enemy unit by 1, ignoring its armor. So it's same theme as like the Usurper and Jax de Elderberg. It's got Veil, it's got the same ability as before, and it's got the added extra buff. So Usurper was playing Agents, Jax de Elderberg was playing Fireswarm, which seems like there are more Fireswarm than Agents, and then this one is Warriors, which the minute, there's a decent few warriors, so it could be quite nice. Damage is probably already better. Damage is probably better than boosting because it's less risky, and the fact it goes under armor, I don't know how useful it'll be. There might be some situations where you might be able to kill something that's 1 strength or something, but like Arrakis Larvae straight away. But it's even better that it goes under armor, even better. So this last variation, this last one, very good. I like Harald the Cripple's final form, and I think it's definitely a good one. The first 2 forms I'm not entirely pleased with, but I think they are trying to build that warrior archetype. So again, we're going to have to wait a little bit until we see more warriors that he can actually pull that are actually decent. Got one coming up. Okay, so I mean, I feel like I've got to give him a 4-star here. I mean, most people are probably going to hold these to round 3 anyway, so the first and second form doesn't seem too bad. At least you get a resurrect. It's still quite a decent chunk of value, so I'd say 4 stars. Yeah. So the next card we've got is a 4 strength for 5 provision bronze for Skellige on Crate Raiders. This is actually in the background of one of I think Harald Warmonger, It's actually in the background, and they pulled the art out. Veteran, order, damage unit by 2, bloodthirst 3, gain zeal. So this could be worth 6 in round 1, 7 in round 2, and 8 in round 3, which I think this is where we start to synergize with Harold the Cripple with the veteran status, because then you would get like 8 in round 3 plus the 6 of Harold the Cripple plus the 1 ping because he's a warrior. You know, the fact he's got order, it's a bit rubbish, but Bloodthirst 3 might not be too difficult to do. You're gonna have to play him earlier because he's a resurrect, so he's worth like 6 for 5, which is not too bad, I suppose. Is a little risky, but then again, that's kind of Northern Realms. So this looks like kind of like a Northern Realms card with the added thing where you have to go Bloodthirst to get some value. It doesn't quite work in the sense that Harold the Cripple you'd want to play down really early in a round. Like round 3, you want to play him down first so that he can actually get the pings off whenever you play a warrior and such. And this guy won't have established his Bloodthirst at that point. So there's a bit of a juxtaposition there where if you're playing him with Harold the Cripple, you have to rely on the order to do the value there, which is a bit weird. I think it's okay. I'll give it 3 stars. Like it's a nice warrior. It's not necessarily auto include. Hopefully we're going to get some better ones. I think he juxtaposed to how Harold the Cripple works, I think. So based on the card reveal website, War of the Clans is a raid card. It's a special card, bronze, 6 provisions, damage an enemy by 2, death blow, play a 4 provision warrior from your graveyard and give it doomed, and if you have devotion, you always trigger the death blow ability. So this card costs exactly the same as a Priestess of Freya, or Freya's Blessing, but it's not an alchemy card. You don't get Chromother synergy. You can't tutor it as of yet. Hopefully we get some raid tutor, and it can only resurrect a certain subset of warrior, which to me is a little weird. I think it's not as good as Freya's Blessing because you have to get that too. I guess in Devotion deck it is a better Freya's Blessing, right? Because you get the 4 strength provision warrior and 2 strength, 2 damage. But there's a mix of positives and negatives. So War of the Clans, on its own, it looks like a decent card-ish. But like I said, mix of positives and negatives. But also, when you compare it to other 5 provision specials, like the Nilfgaard Tactic Amnesty, it's just blown out of the water, isn't it? Because it's a tactic, and it's worth like 6 points, plus 2 more. It just feels like Amnesty blows this one out of the water. So yeah, so that is it. We saw Harold the Cripple, On-Crate Raider, and War of Clans for Skellige. It's okay. A little underwhelming on some of the bronzes. Harold the Cripple's first and second form are okay, but nothing major. We want to see more. Well, for War of the Clans, we want to see more 4 provisioned warriors, possibly with veteran, something that's pretty decent in round 1, something that seems to be, you know, even better when you resurrect it and stuff. There are a couple of warriors that could do quite well in that fact, but you always have to play him like really badly in round 1, and then you get the resurrect later. I want something where you can play it decently in round 1 and get a decent resurrect a little bit later as well. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you again very soon.